and welcome back to another episode of The Nasty Talks. Did you ever feel like maybe something that you do is wrong? Then maybe having sex is wrong, or thinking about sex, or thinking about kissing somebody might be wrong. Well, you're in a good place because you're not the only one. Tanya is our new guest, and she's here to talk all about her experience with sexuality and upbringing. So, welcome, Tanya.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you, actually?
Well, I am a mother of two kids. 34 years old.
Oh, a MILF?
A MILF.
A MILF.
Yeah, that's what they call me sometimes in the city. No, kidding.
Just grabbing a drink casually. And oh, that's the MILF. Oh, that's hot. That's Tanya.
That's her. Yeah. Well, I am born and raised in Denmark. Mm-hmm. My parents or my family, especially my grandparents, comes from Serbia. And they moved to Denmark, let's see, maybe 40, 50 years ago, I think. My grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they lived a good portion of their life.
Here, yes, for a long time. So they don't have the Danish culture at all in their lives, even if they have been here for that many years. But
yeah, but I think it's hard also for them. Like, if you go over a certain age, it's pretty hard to accommodate to like new things, you know?
Yeah, and especially if you're like only hanging out with, how you say, your own people from the same country, then you're kind of stuck there.
Yeah, so they didn't really integrate into the Danish society.
Exactly. But so my parents, they worked a lot when I was a kid. Yeah. They actually had a restaurant. They had some cleaning jobs next to it. And I was growing up with my grandparents. And I remember I was like 6, 8 years when they opened their restaurant, and I was living with my grandparents. So my grandparents, we go to talk about them, who they are. They are very, they live in Serbia, have lived most of their lives, and they have a house in a village area. And that area, everybody knows what everybody does. So everybody talks about each other. So it's they're like, let's say, their own tiny society. Yeah.
It's like small groups, and they keep on like, everybody knows what everybody does, as you say, right? So,
yeah, exactly. And when I become 10, 11, 12 years, the early teenage period. Yeah. I have always learned that sex or just kissing is not, like you say in Arabic, haram.
Yeah. So it's not really allowed.
So it's forbidden. Yeah. It's something forbidden. And I remember clearly when we were sitting in the living room and watched some, I don't know, something on the TV, and they were scrolling, and suddenly a couple kissed in a movie, and both of my grandparents were throwing themselves over the table to get the controller so they can switch channel. Yeah. And they always did that.
Yeah, but I guess it's either that or you sit in a very awkward situation. Nobody says anything. You're just waiting for the moment to be over.
Yeah, that's exactly. It. Yes. Yeah. But it became more and more awkward because I started, I learned that it's embarrassing, that kind of stuff, Yeah. Just kissing, it was very embarrassing. You don't do that. Yeah. And then when I become teenager. But I didn't have time. Like my parents didn't have time to talk with me at all because they were working, and my grandparents definitely didn't talk about menstruation, about boobs, about guys at all. In their opinion, they have like an older mindset. You know, you are not. I mean, we're not Muslims at all, but yeah, they have like a mindset that sex before marriage is maybe not something acceptable.
They would judge it. If it's in their family, or if it's in somebody's family, they would talk about it.
They will talk about
like it's not okay.
Because rumors, they are going so fast in the village areas, so they are they want to make sure that people talked well about me.
Yeah, because that's actually what their life is meant for talking about them.
Yeah.
So if somebody talks good about you, then you're accepted in society. If not, then you have to move.
You're not,
or something.
Yes. And then it's not only about, you know, the person, but it's the entire family. People are talking about, you know, that the whole family are bad. So yeah, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I really started to hate
I get that.
Coming from that culture. And I had a lot of Danish friends, and I was hanging out with my Danish friends, and I also answered them on Danish when they spoke to me on Serbian. So yeah, I was very Danish actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course.
So was it a big difference for you going home and going through all these rules and having to do all of these things and to act in a certain way for your grandparents and to act differently for your friends? Was it hard to kind of make that separation?
Yeah. Let's say, for example, I was for example, in school, when we have gym classes, I always waited till everybody were done in the shower before I went to the shower, because I was embarrassed to show my body. And yeah, when you're young, you know, they start to party, and I went to parties, but then when they started to have those games, kissing games, and you know, a game called SPK, that means truth, consequence, is sandhed, konsekvens, and percent. So how many percent you're voting a guy, you know, And if you choose K, you have to kiss someone.
Okay, so it's like a complicated truth or dare.
Yeah, like exactly. Yes. And when they started to have those games, I was like, oh my god, what should I do? And I become so nervous because, it was something bad to participating in those games.
Yeah. Because of your upbringing, right? And your perception, it was not okay.
Exactly.
But in the other way, I guess you wanted to, because you wanted to be
because I wanted to be like everybody else, you know? Yeah. And I also remember we had a sleepover in tents summer with whole class, and they also had some kind of games that if you want to enter a specific tent, you had to kiss a guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I never went into that tent. So
it sounds really interesting, actually.
I stayed in my own, but that sucked as well. Yeah. And I become kind of, sort of unpopular. And I got bullied somehow a bit. Like I was outsider, the boring one, you know.
Yeah, so you didn't want it to kiss anybody, you didn't want it to like talk about fun games or do fun games or stuff like that. Then you're like, oh, okay, she's not fun.
Yeah, she's not like us.
She's
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was very tough, as a teenager. You don't know who you are. You have all those hormones in your body, and everything like sucks and not be acceptable. Uh,
Especially that when you're a teenager, like you want to be accepted in a group, you want to, you kind of want to be like everybody else. And I think that changes so much after you go after those teenage years. You want to be different. But when you're a teenager, you want to feel like you belong somewhere.
You want to, yes, exactly. So, you want to fit. You want to fit. And I mean, I like to be with my friends more than home, because like grandparents, they're not so interesting to be with. Sometimes
they were doing
like
their own things. Maybe they were boring. And
they're like, my grandmother were cooking a lot. My grandfather always worked in the garage, and it was like boring to be home. So, and yeah, I like to be with them, but then on the other side,
it's kind of wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I used a lot of energy to, what should I do?
To understand who you are exactly and what you want to do and who you want to be.
Yeah,
but exactly. What was actually your first sexual experience, or how did you actually get to experience sexuality?
Well, when I then got my period, and I was about 13 years, I think, 14 years. I was actually embarrassed about that. I didn't know who to talk about, the thing to become a woman, and boyfriends. I got interested in guys, but I actually felt for a long time that I wasn't normal to have this feeling of being interesting in guys. I actually thought that I was the only one on this planet
that was interested in guys.
And
that must be really nice, in that moment.
Yeah, but I felt wrong. I really felt wrong, that like there's something wrong with me, and I kept it for myself, and I was actually crying sometimes, when I came home from school. And because I just felt wrong, and nobody talked with me about that. Then I started to figure out that I am not wrong. I mean, people, it's normal to be interesting in that time, the opposite gender.
And even if you're interested in the same gender, that is also fine.
Yeah. But at that time, I didn't know about the same gender, that you could be interesting in that, in the same gender. So I started to accept it, that, tell myself that it's a normal thing. So I start to participate in those games.
Oh.
Yeah. With my classmates, and I went to parties with them, and then I got to know more people, not only from my class, but the class next to my class. And I still had this in me, that I wasn't comfortable in myself at all, actually. And that was years. But I had boyfriends.
And did you kiss them?
I kissed them. Yeah. I also had sexual intercourse, I think, when I was 15. That was my first.
Yeah.
But from I was 15 till I turned maybe 22, I had boyfriends, but I didn't. I was always thinking catastrophical thoughts when I was having sex.
Yeah.
I wasn't fully, in it.
Yeah.
My thoughts were somewhere else. So mostly I did it because of the guys.
Yeah. And what were your thoughts? What were you thinking exactly?
That this is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that I did something wrong, and I didn't. Sometimes I got these thoughts that I'm cheap, or I shouldn't it's so bad thoughts. It was about myself.
And it's actually funny because, of course, you get those thoughts when you get a perception of your grandparents that is a perception from many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, they have like an old way of thinking.
Yeah.
And they thought all those things, and that was okay for them.
Yeah.
But in this new world, that was also another country. It was also Denmark, which is way more adapted to new things. And in Denmark, actually, people have sex very frequently and very early.
They have,
and they don't.
A lot of one night stands as well. Like it's very normal. And
so for you, there was a big difference between that, because your grandparents, they were also like old, but they are also from Serbia, so they have a very different perception about sex and sexuality than Danes.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that it was pretty difficult.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But then when I turned like 22 years old, I went into a relationship with a guy, which is the father of my 2 kids today. Yeah. And we were together for 13 years. Of course, in the beginning, everything is like, in love, blah, 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 and it goes well. But even with him, years after, I still felt I couldn't relax when we had sex, and
were you able to
affected
have
me.
Orgasms?
No. Sometimes, but that it could required
a lot of work,
and
maybe
just
some
the
bottles
thought
of
of
wine.
it. The thought of it was like, no. And I started to reject him, not him, but the intercourse. I was like, no, I'm tired, or no, I made excuses all the time, and and maybe 10 years after, we were I felt like we were flatmates. And he wasn't the problem. It was me. It was things inside me that actually ruined the most of the relationship.
So it was probably.
And he was trying really hard to fix it, and he accepted all my no's, and but in the end, I was like, this is too, this is not gonna work. And then I ended the relationship, and it was super, super hard. And
especially because you have 2 kids together.
Because of the 2 kids, But we are very, very good friends today, and our relationship is super, communication super, so there is nothing there, just the sexual thing. It's but then when I become single, I've been single now for almost 3 years. When I became single, I started actually to read a lot of books and watched series or documentaries about sex, and I started to grow in many.
In a more sexual way. To become a sexual person.
Yes. Yeah. And I started to talk about it more openly with my girlfriends, and I become more and more comfortable in it. And I started to want to experiment a little bit, so I bought so many things on websites.
We love that.
Like dildos and vibrators and chains and and straps and even a swing, but that I haven't used it yet.
No,
it's in my bag somewhere.
Well, it definitely needs to be used.
Yeah,
you should come back and let us know
someday when I'm more comfortable in it. I'm today, I would say I'm not thinking about, I'm not having those catastrophic thoughts.
Yeah.
But I will not say that I'm 100% relaxed.
No, of course.
During intercourse, I'm still having it, but it's much, much, much better, and I feel more comfortable in, like, being naked, in front of a guy, and accepted myself more. But it's because I worked a lot with it.
Yeah.
With myself a lot. I also went to a psychologist to talk about, like, not only about sex, but life in general. Yeah. And I have been meditate a lot, and I have been doing yoga, and I have been also, I dance with salsa and bachata, Latin dance, and it's also, you know, when you dance, you are very close to another
to another person. You connect.
Physical. Yeah. You can, yes. So that also made me grow a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's especially in dancing, when you dance with somebody else, especially if you're a woman and you dance with a man, then you can feel the masculinity that he has, and then you feel more feminine. Yeah. You feel special.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's the same way for them.
Yeah.
They feel your femininity. They feel how you move, and it's so smooth, and it's so nice, and it's so feminine, and they think, oh, I can lead her. Yeah. I can make her do these moves.
Gives them a boost as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's a really good thing, especially for the people that do have problems like this. Probably from when they're young,
to boost their self-esteem.
Dancing and the same, like meditating, maybe talking with a psychologist, just taking care of yourself in so many other ways can make you be more sexual and be more comfortable with yourself. And if you're more comfortable with yourself, then you want to experience more things sexually, because then you have that boost of energy. Yeah,
that's
so
true.
I think that's really good.
Yeah. But in the beginning, when I started to salsa, to dance, I was super nervous to. It's so close to. I mean, a lot of people that haven't been used to be so close to another person got nervous, but I was super, like, I could really, like, hear my heart beating. And I started like 13 years ago to dance. And now I'm like, I just ask guys, hey, you want to dance? Come on, let's dance without any problems.
It just comes so easily,
just
right?
Just so relaxed.
But I think it's just about giving it a go, just trying and doing it, and then it's just gonna come. Yeah. And it's just nice. Yeah. So you actually started dancing after you broke up? No. You were still with your ex.
Yes. I started dancing 13 years ago. It was actually maybe 2 years after we were, like, we come together, like a couple. And then, I was bored and I had to find something to do. And then I started.
That's nice. Was he also dancing?
He was not dancing, no. He was a little bit jealous in the beginning, but then he I think remember he went with me once to an event, and then he saw that, okay, it's not grinding,
people are not going to have sex in the bathroom afterwards.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Yeah. And also because I'm also a nurse, by the way, so I've grown a lot there as well. I see so many things. Different sizes and different shapes and different, like, even during my work, I've grown a lot about, like, when it comes to body parts, like intimate body parts. It's so natural now, for me. It wasn't like that before, so
I can imagine the first time you go into like a room with a patient naked and you're like, you have to do something and he's there and and you're like, okay, let's do it.
But I mean, now I'm thinking like, oh yeah, there's a dick. Okay, fine, cool. Like it's more, years ago before I become a nurse, I was like, I could freak out if I saw a dick somewhere. Like,
just run around the dick.
I would run away. If I saw a dick in the street or something.
What you do for your job, the things you do for your job.
But all in all, all the things I've been through in my life,
I guess maybe shaped the way you perceive sex nowadays and how you perceive yourself.
Yes, exactly. I've grown a lot, so I'm thankful for that.
But what would you say? I know you talk a lot about your grandparents and their perception on sexuality and all that, but how do you think your parents perceived it in general? How do you think their part in your sexual education was? Were they sort of like role models for you or not necessarily?
No, not at all. I didn't talk with my parents either. I mean, well, when I maybe become... Like sometimes my mom asked me today, for example, but that was after my teenage period. Then she could ask me about my boyfriends, and sometimes I remember I had a boyfriend for 2 years and he slept over. I was living at my parents by then and he slept over and she didn't freak out, but I could see that she wasn't okay with it, and then she talked about it with me instead of just ignore it. So that was kind of cool, even if it wasn't that positive, the conversation.
And even if it was maybe a bit too late.
But it was hard for me to talk about it when my mom wanted to talk about so what are you doing when you sleep together? I was like,
so how's it going?
Sleeping.
Do you have any, your mom coming, do you have any tips to share?
Oh my God, no. Oh, I would, no. I haven't went that deep into that with my mom, thank God. Yeah, but I think it's very important to talk with your kids about sex as well. I do that with my 10 years old son, actually, because he knows what boobs are, what
boobies,
vagina is, and he's he asks sometimes, and he also asked me once about babies, how
how does that work?
And they had also once in school about how
they had sexual education.
how to get pregnant. Already it's very early, but so I don't want to hide anything for him. Of course I just have to explain it in a more
to find your
childish way. But I'm not gonna put a lid on it and say that we're not gonna talk about it because that is something embarrassing. So no,
it's gonna make it embarrassing for him, and it's gonna make it hard for him to grow with it. And also, he's probably gonna learn about it from somewhere else.
He will.
And the thing is, maybe he's not gonna learn the good things about it. He's gonna learn a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just better to set the.
It is.
Yeah, to set the basics.
And even, I mean, if there could be some problems with it sometimes, in his life, and I want him to be able to talk about it, and not keep it inside, and
to know that he can talk with you if there's something. I think that's really nice.
Or his dad, or he will maybe prefer to talk about with his dad, but he's also welcome to ask me if he want to know something about girls or whatever. Yes. So that's very, very important to not even sex. Like if you have like even the like body boobs, and when you become a teenager, the menstruation and all that, it's very important to talk about.
And also, like, I think we talk a lot about menstruation for women, but we don't talk about guys, and we don't talk what they're going through. No. Because they also have like the periods when the skin, from the dick gets like separated, and like that's not communicated enough. No. And I think a lot of kids might get scared in that moment because they're gonna think like, what is going on? What is happening? Yeah. And I think it's a very frightening situation. Yeah. So it should probably be talked about more, but it's actually really good that they are implementing
in school
sexual education. Yeah, it is. Especially at this age, because I feel that nowadays, you can find anything online.
You can,
and probably when you were younger and when you were little, it was harder to do that.
It was,
and maybe that's why they also didn't had sexual education in school that early, because like, obviously you didn't have anywhere to learn it from, if not from other people. But nowadays, like, he can just go on a website and it just boobs pop up, and something happens, and then he's like, okay, what is going on? And
exactly,
there's so much more accessibility.
Even on YouTube, you click in one video, and then you see like something else pops up in this on the side of the page, and they just click in it and click, and then suddenly, whoa, a naked woman somewhere doing something. Not like, I mean, it's
maybe not
limited
like
on YouTube,
but still nakedness, like they could see that. Yes. Especially maybe like if he's using a computer that is his dad's or yours or something else, and maybe you watched porn on it or something, and then those kind of commercials could actually pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But how do you think? What would be your perception if you would catch your son watching porn? Maybe not now, but maybe in some years.
I think I'll close the door.
Will you talk about it with him? Would you bring it up?
Well, it depends of how old he is when I catch him. If I catch him.
Let's see what happens in 2 years, at 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I would talk with his dad about it. And I will put it over to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get rid of it somehow.
Yeah, but also because, man to man talk, and it's more comfortable for him to talk about it with his dad than with his mom. I would prefer that with my mom than my dad, if
of course.
if the same thing happened to me. So I would, but I would not be like, I would not close the topic if he came to me and wanted to talk about or ask something about it, or so.
Of course.
But
that's
to make it easier for him, I will let him talk with his dad about it, but I will not neglect it. I would tell his dad about it and tell him to talk with his son about it too.
Yeah, maybe like the next day he's gonna find the lube on the outside of his door, like a special present from his mom.
No, I don't hope that I would see that, but it might happen.
But I mean, it's healthy, to also teach him that lube is better than spit.
I mean, of course, but I would, just as a parent, you think that, well, you would not see that stuff, but
of course, sort of
everything can happen. I mean, I had a friend in school, and she was telling like she had a little brother, and he was also like very early teenage period, and he was doing something in his room, and she was coming in, and then he had a cup next to the bed with something inside. Some stuff inside. So she was also like freaked out and just closed the door, and
but in a cup.
In a cup. And then I also heard stories with a sock.
With socks.
And hiding under the bed with things.
I mean, I guess you're gonna be washing stuff like that as well at some point.
Yeah. I have to teach him wash his clothes by himself, so
you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yes, but all in all, how do you think you would go about it now regarding your sexuality? Like, of course, now you feel much better than you did when you were younger, when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
What is the next plan? What is the next move?
Well, I learned that it's very normal to have more than one partner today.
Yeah.
It's very, it's more normal than having one partner, probably, and monogamy and...
monogamy, I think, in general starts to disappear slowly. Like, people are having more relations with multiple people.
Yes, exactly. And even with the same gender, you know, and that made me actually curious, you know, to be with a woman, because I think women are very beautiful, especially like with curves, and but I'm also very picky about that. Yeah, and I have my types. But yeah, like I tried it once, but that was in that period where I wasn't that comfortable in sex at all. So yeah, it was catastrophic actually. But I'm very interested in that.
So you would like to try, maybe having sex with a woman?
Yes.
And maybe also having sex with multiple partners at the same time, but not like a threesome or anything, but maybe just having multiple partners. Right.
I'm kind of, maybe I've thought about threesome, but I'm also thinking like,
have you ever had a threesome?
Once. Yeah. But again, I wasn't comfortable in it. No. So, and I don't think that it's me, actually, threesome or foursome or whatever, or orgy, or I'm very, I don't know, I'm also very emotional, so I can't just have sex with a regular person that I don't have at least a tiny bit for, like, something,
some feelings.
Yes. I know that, especially guys, you know, that sorry guys, but they can, you know, many guys, they can
move between women and women. They don't have a problem with it. Yeah.
She has like vagina, that's fine. Yeah, super.
A vagina, a face.
Vagina, a face is good. Yeah. Pulse. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But I'm not there, and I don't know if I'm gonna be there.
No.
But yeah, I'm willing to experience a little bit more about my sexuality, and then I prefer one person, but experiment with that person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable in that situation, that is the most important thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
If you want to have a threesome, but you just don't think that is the right time right now, then maybe just give it some time, think about it, and maybe at some point there will be a group of people, maybe a couple, or maybe just some people that you meet that you actually have a really good connection with, and you will want to do it.
Yeah.
But that just depends.
Exactly.
On how things are.
Yeah. If I have to, then I don't want it to be like with another couple, because I know a friend that also like did it with a couple, and it was drama because then one of them got jealous and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna stick to like
to random people that
to random or not together as a couple. Yeah, if so.
Yeah, I think that's a safe way to go.
Yeah.
But yes, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for being here today. It was really nice to have deep conversations about culture and sexuality. And it was really nice to get to know you.
Thank you. You too.
Yes. Thank you as well. And have a nice day, everybody. And thank you for listening in. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.